Well, I wanna welcome you, and my name is Pedro Reyes, and I have the honor of serving for the chancellor at the University of Texas system, as well as for the Board of Regents. So I'd like to introduce a couple of people who are here with us, special guests, and then we'll go on to the introduction of Dr. Bailey. First of all, I want to introduce my boss, one of my bosses, Regent Ernest Aliceda from the Valley. So thank you for being here. I know you were busy working with students and scholarships and something like that, I think, which is really important, and I appreciate you being here with us. We had a wonderful 2 meetings with faculty and staff. It was incredibly full, and so thank you. I want to also introduce my colleague Julio Leon, Julio, who's been working with us for a while, and we brought him from Missouri, and he likes the Valley as well. And and also I'd like to introduce where's Frank? Uh, Frank Fernandez, Dr. Frank Fernandez, the Dean of the Medical School. Oh, he's being interviewed, but I think you met him before. And Frank had just arrived from South Florida, and he's enjoying his time here. He's beginning to build that medical school that some of you will attend at some point in time. So let me just talk about this great privilege that all of us have, including me, and that is to be a witness to a time that is incredible for the Valley, for the transformation of the Valley, on the Rio Grande Valley. If you remember, about 18 months ago, the Board of Regents and our chancellor talked about creating a new university in this area, in this region. 18 months, and I'm a faculty member at UT Austin. You know how much we take to do one policy, to pass one policy? About 2 or 3 years. So this is incredibly fast what we have done here. And so this dream that we have had for a long time is taking place right now, and thanks to the incredible leadership of our Valley legislators, and not only that, but the business community and the community leaders, as well as our faculty, our staff, and our students. You are part of it, because that was the core of our thinking when we started thinking about this new institution. And so we come to another step in the process, and that is the designation of the next president for the University of Texas Rio Grande Valley. And I'd like to introduce that person to you. So Dr. Guy Bailey, he brings with him a wide range of experiences that will serve all the students here in the Rio Grande Valley really well. He's a social linguist. People say he's a humanist. I think that's what it is, in the humanities, which I think will be an excellent complement to the medical school. Humanities are so critical of the medical school as well. And he does hold a bachelor's degree and a master's degree in English from University of Alabama, and a doctoral degree or PhD in English linguistics from the University of Tennessee. He completed doctoral studies or postdoctoral studies at Emory, as well as Stanford University, and has published in academic journals extensively. There's more than 100 books and articles published over his tenure as a faculty member. He also brings with him incredible leadership skills. He was provost and executive vice president at the University of Texas San Antonio, and I had the privilege of working with him as a provost, and I was at the UT system. So we got a lot of doctoral programs passed through the coordinating board as well, and through the Board of Regents. He was also chancellor at the University of Missouri, Kansas City, where he led professional schools like the medical school, the pharmacy school, the dental school, the law school, Terry, and among others, and really, really well. And he was also president of Texas Tech. And all of you, I think, know Texas Tech, the Red Raiders. And he did an incredible job there, not only raising the profile of the university, but also bringing in more students to the university. And then he went to the University of Alabama to be president, and now we're so lucky to get him back to Texas. So he's led large and complex academic organizations, and he's bringing in all of those attributes, all of those experiences to help build this great university. He's committed to undergraduate education. He's not only committed to undergraduate education, but he's an incredible advocate for students. So you have an incredible friend there, and as a president. I think he told me that his door is open for students anytime and almost anywhere. And so he's worked really hard at Texas Tech to improve graduation rates, and he accomplished a great deal there as well. And not only that, but also he worked with communities and the low-income communities in the San Antonio area, where he established one of the first early college high schools with UTSA. And in Missouri, he also oversaw innovative approaches to medical education, where students were granted admission to medical school directly from high school. And so I think that that's an incredible opportunity that we have here to rethink how we do work, how do we work and get all the students all the way through from K to 20, K to 20-something. And the opportunity is here, and I think he will make sure that we do so. So let me say that we are really fortunate to have him lead the development of UTRGV. So please help me welcome Dr. Guy Bailey to our community.
Thank you. Thank you. First, it's an honor to be here today, and I want to appreciate you, tell you how much I appreciate your turning out. Now, you're not taking classes right now, are you? No. So you had to make a special effort to be here today, yes. And I want to thank you for that, because I recognize, I remember being your age, barely, but I do remember it now. I'm just kidding. It's, you know, this is a tremendous opportunity that we have together. What's going to happen here over the next few years is unique in American higher education. Nothing else like it is going on. This is will be the first new major university of the 21st century. Think about it. First in the 21st century. Everybody is watching us. You know, I was a dean at University of Nevada, Las Vegas many years ago. And you know that saying, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. What happens here, if we do it right, won't stay here. It'll be the pattern for the rest of the country. Think about it. The United States is becoming more like the Rio Grande Valley, right? What we're doing, we're the first new institution of the 21st century. If we do it right, we'll be the pattern for everyone else. Think about that. It's a tremendous opportunity. Every time you see your legislators, you ought to thank them, because they really pull together and work together to make this happen. This is a tremendous effort on their part. The Board of Regents, and listen, this guy, you need to thank him every time you see him. You know the old saying, put your money where your mouth is. University of Texas system is investing $350 million, $350 million in that effort. Do you know what a vote of confidence that is in you, really, and in what you can achieve? So Thank your board members, thank your legislators. It's really quite an effort. As I said, when we go forward and we're first in the 21st century, there are certain things, certain principles we want to use for organizing our university. First of all, we want this to be focused around the success of our students. If you don't graduate, you know, we failed. You failed and we failed too. The only measure of a university's success is your success. Why do people think Harvard's a great school? Because its students, its graduates have done great things. Think about that. So what happens with you here and what happens with you afterwards is absolutely crucial. And in everything we do, we want to think about that going forward. This is an institution that we want focused around your success. As you come here and you're successful and you go out in the workforce, you'll transform the Valley. It's going to be a much better place because of you and what you do. And so that's part of this opportunity. The other opportunity is a chance for the new university to move into the emerging research category. That will create enormous new educational opportunities for you, both as undergraduates and as graduate students. You won't have to go away to do your PhD. Think about this. You'll be able to get an MD going all the way through school here. You go to UTRGV, enter the medical school. You do your residency right here in the Valley. And you'll transform healthcare in the Valley. This is really an exciting opportunity. Now, it's not going to be easy. Nobody, there are all kinds of bumps in the road. That's okay. Anytime you do something new and exciting, there's a challenge there, right? When you went away to college, there's a challenge different from high school. And we've got the same thing. But you have my commitment, the system's commitment, you have your legislators' commitment, the board's commitment to really make this a special place. For me, it's the opportunity of a lifetime. I've never done anything this exciting or this interesting. And I hope as we go forward, you'll be able to say the same thing too. Now, what I want to do is throw the rest of this open to questions from you. But as Dr. Reyes said, one of the things, Texas Tech had 33,000 students. I had an open door policy. If a student wanted to see me and you came there, you got in. It may be for 5 minutes. There's a good chance I probably couldn't answer your question, but the person who could reported to me, right? So we could get you. But the thing is, I always am anxious to meet you. A lot of times there I ate at the, whenever possible, over in the Student Center. And I did that because it gave me a chance to meet students and get to interact with students a little bit. And after a while, they'll tell you pretty much what they think. It takes a little while for them to get used to you, and then they feel comfortable in talking to you. So I look forward to interacting with you, working with you. You're why we're here. As I used to tell the students, one student at Tech said, well, you know, I'm surprised that you just let students come in your office like that. And I said, if you weren't here, I wouldn't have a job. That's true. None of us would have a job if it weren't for you. And we'll always keep that in mind. So without further ado, I'll be happy to answer your questions, and we'll kind of go from there. Yeah, I think they've got.
Oh, okay. All right, I guess I'll back to my seat.
You just have to take it
Thank
to
you
the
so
next
much,
person.
Dr. Bailey, for being here.
My pleasure.
I'm a part of the Student Government Association. My name is Jonathan Salinas, and I'm a senator at large. I'm sorry, just went blank. So we're transitioning not just to a new institution, not just changing the name and everything, but as you well know, our former president applied for this job as well, and something that I think we'll all remember him for was for being connected with the locals here, being connected with the Valley, and understanding the needs of the Valley with creating the literacy program and things like that. So my question to you is how do you plan on familiarizing yourself with the needs of the Rio Grande Valley and the community at large?
Well, that's a very good question, and it's very important as well. And I think any college president coming in has to do that no matter where you are. When I was at Texas Tech, I had to know West Texas, and I had to know Lubbock, and of course I was new there. Interestingly enough, when I went to Kansas City, it's the same thing. You get to, but by interacting with community groups, by interacting with your students and your staff, you find out, local schools, you find out what those needs are, and then you organize your work in ways to meet them. The great thing about being a president, people are always polite when they meet you, but after a few minutes they'll tell you exactly what they need. And so, and that's exactly what you need to hear from people. So I'll be, I told some at the last session, this is true, I bought a brand new pickup truck because I figure I'm going to put a lot of miles on it in the next 2 or 3 years, just driving up and down. I hope it lasts 3 years. And and the truth, I'll be out in the valley, out interacting with community leaders, with public schools, and with you. And that's how we'll understand the needs of the valley. And I'll be committed to them. All of my staff will be as well.
Good afternoon, Dr. Bailey. And first of all, welcome to the Valley. My name is George Silvera. I'm a business administration student, major in management, and I have a real good question for you. Is part of your program to create an incubator program that can create sustainability for us and for our community, and also including the maquiladoras?
So really what you're looking, the question has to do with the creation of incubators, business incubators. And, you know, it's interesting. I do have some experience at that at University of Missouri, Kansas City. The focus of the College of Business, the block school there, was on innovation. And so we had an incubator there. And so I do have some experience setting those up. And yes, that'd be a terrific thing. You probably already have some work going on in that. And so it'll be simply a matter of formalizing that and putting it together. But one of the functions of a university, you want to educate students, but you want to serve your community too, and you do that in part through assistance with business startup as well.
Hello, my name is Belinda. Welcome to the Valley.
Thank you.
I'm also a member of the Greek community and the student leaders on campus. So we do have traditions according to the years that we have been here and established and things like that. So one of our questions and our main concerns would be, how would you help for us to transition into the RGV New University? How would you keep our traditions going?
You know, if you look at Greek life, if you think of distances, you're going to maintain fraternities and sororities here, and they're going to maintain chapters there. Because of the distance, you're going to have to do that. And so under those circumstances, your tradition should be easy enough to maintain. If there are things that in the combination of or in the merging of the new university that aren't amenable to that, we can sit down and talk about them. But in other words, you can't easily have virtual fraternities and sororities. You can have virtual classes. I mean, you can do classes distance ed. I'm not sure how you do fraternities and sororities distance ed. So.
It's more like a chapter type of deal.
That's
and
right.
Like if
that's
you
right.
don't talk with our nationals or things like that, like if we have another chapter over there, then we would kind of have to like either merge them or cancel our chapters and things like that. And that was our main concern for our alumni because of the fact that
that's a good point.
they need to come back to something that they had established at the beginning.
I think if we talk to your national, remember we're doing something nobody else has done. So I think your nationals will probably work with us. It's probably going to require us, administrators sitting down and explaining to them. But I think they'll probably work with us on that. But it is something that we'll have to proactively approach. When you ask questions, remember a lot of things that nobody's ever done before. And so this is probably the first time your national has ever had this question posed to them. And so we'll have to work with them a little bit. But I don't think in the long run that's something that would be problematic.
questions I
That's
wrote.
okay. You came prepared. So.
Thank you.
Are you this prepared every class?
I really try to. First of all, welcome, and thank you, Dr. Bailey, for being here and taking the time to speak with us here at Pan Am and also at UTV. My name is Mauricio, and I am an international student studying economics, and I'm from Mexico. I study here at this university at Pan Am. I am also a member of Student Government Association, and so I hope my question reflects the voice and interest of all students here at this campus. My question is this: how do you foresee your selection process for your leadership team at the cabinet level? After all, these people will be reporting to you what they observe and learn one-on-one with the UTRGV and its community. They, in essence, would be your extra pair of eyes, ears, and hands, of course.
That's a very good question. First of all, remember that the new university won't be structured exactly like the old university. Now, all of the vast majority of the talent, administratively and every other way, for the new university is right here, right? It's already here. But some people may be in different roles, and as we develop a structure for the university, what we'll try to do is make sure we have the right people in the right place to move the institution forward. Think about what we're trying to achieve. A university focused on student success, and one that's moving to the emerging research category, and on top of that, one that is incorporating a dynamic, creative medical school. We'll want people in the right places to help us achieve those things. And so we'll look at people's credentials, we'll look at who fits best where, and then make decisions based on that. So, but you're right, there are many people on campus will serve similar functions, some of them different functions, but we'll try to have them in the right place for their abilities, for what we're trying to achieve with the institution, and we're also sensitive to people's careers as well. I understand very well that people are making a livelihood in their work at this institution, and we're sensitive to that. So.
I'm sorry.
Hi, it's so nice to meet you. I'm Mariana, and I am also a part of the Student Government Association. I'm wondering, in regards to your open door policy towards students, how are you planning to divide your time between the two campuses, considering that they are pretty...
There are more than two.
Okay, well, from all of the campuses.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Harlingen as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, actually, we could have facilities in 3 or 4 places. I don't ever anticipate not being on a campus sometime during a week. So whether it's spend a day here, a day there, a day somewhere else, I don't know, but I'll be on the campus every week, and you'll know when it is, and it'll be public knowledge. But there won't be a time when I'm not. Remember the other thing, you know, when you get in touch with people now, you used to do it by telephone. For me, I have a 30-year-old daughter, a 26-year-old son. Text message is how I have to get in touch with them. They don't talk on the phone anymore. And there are all kinds of ways of using media to maintain those connections as well, but I'll be around every week. So one other point I should make, the interesting thing about the Valley is that a lot of the development work and other work that has to be done will be done right here. When I was at Texas Tech, a lot of the development work and other thing was in Dallas. I mean, I was away from Lubbock a lot. I don't anticipate being, you know, I'm not going to go to Dallas all the time fundraising. And so I anticipate spending most of my time in the Valley, and you'll know where I'll be and when I'll be available.
Hello, my name is Isaac Trevino. I am the president for the Institute of Electrical and Electronic Engineers. So I'm not sure if well, it's an honor. It's an honor to be here, sir. I was unfortunately I never got to meet the previous president, but I get to meet this one, so it's an honor.
You'll probably see plenty of me.
Okay, and well, I guess I represent the electrical engineers of here, and Well, a big thing that we do is HESTEC, which is
Yes, I know.
It's an engineering event that we like to have, science as well, and
Great
social.
event, yeah.
Yes, I mean, right now we're in the process of designing it. Would you have any like, ideas, or what's your enthusiasm in the engineering aspect? If I can just have your input, that would be great, so I can feed back to the other representatives.
We've had similar things, not identical things, but similar things at Texas Tech, UTSA, UMKC, and I'll be very supportive of those things. So, and I'd like to be involved when I'm here. I'd like to be at some of your events if you'd let me know. And so I'll be very supportive of that. That's a great program, by the way, and one that I absolutely support. So. Oh, there's also a question right back here.
Yes. Well, hello.
When you finish, she's right back here. Raise your hand. Okay. Okay.
Yes, sir. Hello, Dr. Bailey. My name is Alberto Adame. I am the student government president.
Yes.
Very nice to meet you.
Good to meet you.
And I would like to know, I think a lot of us want to know, how is the student input and voice of the students is going to be incorporated for the selection of the new student scholars and traditions and stuff like that?
Yeah.
And mascot. Sorry.
So what you're asking really is how do I interact with students in ensuring that the student's voice. Well, one thing, if you were student government president, we'd be meeting once a month, one-on-one, just as I did at Texas Tech and other places. I'd also want to, if you have a student senate or equivalent body, I'd like to meet with them occasionally as well. So as president of the student government, you and I would interact, and you would be the primary funnel of student concerns to me, not the only one, but the primary thing. And we'd interact on a regular basis. I've always had those kinds of monthly meetings. Same thing with staff senate and faculty senate, always met on a regular basis. Then as you brought issues to the front, I try to work with my team to help resolve or deal with those issues. Yes, go ahead.
What about the new mascot and school colors?
New mascot and school colors. All of you students are going to have plenty of input on that this fall. I mean, we'll get started on it, and those are things that aren't going to be made out of the blue. Those are things that you'll be involved with. So, it's interesting. The good news is I have no particular bias one way or the other on names for anything or colors. I've got colors of virtually every kind of tie because I've been at schools with orange and blue, schools with red and black, blue and gold. After a while, you get ties that go with everything, and so I don't have any real. Now, one color that you will have is orange. Now, beyond that, you can. We'll get your input on that and kind of go from there. Same thing for mascots and so forth as well. How many people go to athletic events? One of the things that my late wife and I always did at Texas Tech athletic events, we'd go to the football games, and I always ordered a bunch of T-shirts, and so we threw T-shirts up in the student section. It's interesting. People loved it, and I got to show off my arms, see how far I could throw things, and so I have great pictures about my wife. My late wife was tiny, and I mean, she's pretty petite, and she's got pictures of her really just determination throwing those T-shirts. They're precious pictures, but we'll do things like that to get you, and you'll see me at a lot of things like that. And I said maybe I could show off my arm a little bit. So.
Hi, my name is Eunice Santana, and thank you for taking on this huge project that is the merger of this university and UTB, and the medical school. I just really appreciate, and I think I speak for the whole student body, we really appreciate you coming here and giving your input in regards to experience and in regards to efforts, because it's something totally new and we haven't really done it, so thank you for that. My question would be, what is a fear that you have coming into this new university?
What fear do I have coming in? Oh, that's interesting. I have some, here's what I think about virtually every day. How do I make sure that the first day of class is 2015, every one of you has your financial aid, you're enrolled in the right classes, and all the faculty and staff are getting their paychecks? Now, that seems like a little thing, but I want you to think about all the technical things that have to be done. I mean, it's very important. If the first day of classes you aren't enrolled and you don't have your financial aid and everything, and there will be a few glitches, no question about it. So, I mean, you think of a lot of bigger issues. And from my point of view, the bigger issues are actually easier to, they're not necessarily easier to resolve, but they're things that you know that are there, and they're not things that are going to jump up and bite you in the same way that financial aid will. Does that make sense to you? And so there are a lot of little technical things like that that I think about every day. And it's really important to, you know, I asked the staff and faculty if anybody had ever put in a new student record system. If you ever change a student record system at a university, you know that it takes 3 years to get it perfected. And you know, there's some bumps along the way. We're moving very fast. It's doable. We can do it. But I want to make sure this is smooth as possible and that there aren't negative consequences that jump up and bite you. And we'll have a team in place so that if there are things like that, we'll resolve those problems just like that. But if you ask me what I worry about the most is, you know, school colors, we're going to get that down. We're going to get student government working as one whole. I mean, there'll be some bumps in the road there, but you know those things, and those aren't the surprises. It's the surprises I worry about. So, does that help at all? Yeah. Well, I thought you were going to give it to my boss instead.
Okay, thank you. Hello, Dr. Bailey. Welcome to the Rio Grande Valley. My name is Fernanda Peña. I'm a student for the College of Health Sciences and Human Services, and I'm also a part of student government. My question is, how do you plan to increase the graduation rates here at the future UTRGV?
That's a great question, and that's another thing I think about a lot. First thing I want to do is kind of re-examine a lot of the things that we do in higher education. When we think about things, we often don't think about them. For example, let's take financial aid, which I was just talking about. We think about financial aid as a way of attracting you to school here. We don't think about financial aid as a mechanism for helping you graduate. Does that make sense? I want to rethink financial aid a little bit. How do we use financial aid to ensure that you graduate hopefully in 4 years or 9 semesters, something in a pretty quick manner? So we'll begin to look at a lot of processes like that. I'll give you another example. At UTSA, when I was provost, we looked at every course, and especially the core curriculum courses, to look at the success rates. And we found certain courses people were just having a terrible time with. It was one of the introductory economics. I don't know whether it was micro or macro. It might have been microeconomics. And what we found is that students were taking that before they had their math. And so they didn't have the quantitative, and so we just changed the requirement there, and the success rates went up. We'll examine everything we do in that way. Let me give you one other story. As provost, I taught a couple of classes a year. I usually teach once during the academic year and during the summer. I taught history of the English language. Are there any English majors here? That's the course that all English majors hate. But anyway, I was teaching it both downtown at 1604 campus, same time. We were video streaming it. I'd teach some downtown. And so I'd never video streamed it before. When I gave the first test, they were the highest test grades I'd ever had. And the second test, they were the high. I thought, golly, what's happening here? Are these the best students I've ever had? And so the guy who was running the technology, I mentioned it to him. He said, oh, your students are downloading your lectures and they're re-auditing the lectures. And it dawned on me, those students were a lot more successful, there were more time on task, simply because they had my lectures archived. I mean, if you simply do something like that, what if you had all of your professors' classes. And when you study for the test, you go back, hey, you know what? There are a lot of simple things. They're not, there may be a little more, but they're doable things that we can do to help you succeed. And so we'll look at all of those things. I want to know every course, what the success rates are, and then figure out if they aren't high, what can we do about it? Is there a way to archive class lectures to help you? And, you know, students spend a lot of time, you know, they took an hour to go back through those lectures. And so I was very pleased with that, and we'll look at all of those kinds of things.
Hi, I'm Catherine Bruff, also part of the Student Government Association here. And my question is, are you going to be visiting again during the summer so we can get those dates out to students and advertise it on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram? Because I know emails were sent out, but I'm sure a lot of students don't check their emails.
I will. You know, my son and daughter don't use email. I thought it was such a big deal when it came out in the mid-'90s, you know. But anyway, I will be. I don't know exactly when that will be. I've got to get ready to move. I have to find a place to live. I have to get all the stuff ready to move. And it's a little more complicated because, as many of you know, my wife passed away at the end of last summer. And so I have delayed going through all of her closing things. And it's something I have to do, too. But anyway, I'd like to get moved in the next month, 6 weeks at the far end. So I should be back down here permanently by midsummer, and probably sooner than that. And I'll make sure that you know. I'll make sure that you know when I'm on this campus as well. And I'm always happy to do something like this. There are some things that aren't all that enjoyable about my job, but meeting with students is not one of them.
One more question.
Thank you. My name is Fang, and I'm a graduate student and also a staff here.
Yes.
I'm trying to ask a question about international student services. If students don't have transportation for basic needs like going to and forth airport or obtaining social security cards, do you have any ideas about how these services could be provided through the campus, or that transportation can be arranged for them? Thank you.
You know, it's interesting. The last year I've been a faculty at the University of Alabama, which has a large graduate program in English. There is no airport in Tuscaloosa. You have to drive to Birmingham. Birmingham is as far from Tuscaloosa as Brownsville is, right, from Edinburgh. What I've noticed is that graduate students just simply send out an email campus-wide, who can give me a ride to the airport? Somebody always gets a ride there. I think the one thing you ought to do is try to set up a network of graduate students to try, and I'd be happy to help you do that. But I find it absolutely fascinating that invariably within a couple of hours somebody has people always have rides to the airport. Here it's not, depending on whether you're flying out of Mecca, well, even Harlingen is not all that far. So I would think you'd be able to get some help in doing that. I'd be more than happy to work with you, and I can show you how that network works there. But I'd never even thought about it. But if you're a graduate student there and you're flying out of Birmingham, that's a big haul, and so we'll work to try to get something like that established.
The SGA president and vice president, y'all want to come forward?
Oh, wow, thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Excited that you came to visit us.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm honored. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Did you include notes in there? Yes. Okay. So all of my notes are already taken for me. So, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Dr.
I look
Bailey,
forward to working with you.
Before we close, I just wanted to thank the staff
Absolutely.
and for helping us organize this. Martha, thank you so much. Marty, Avedon, everybody. Lisa, where's Lisa? Lisa was the primary contact, and I really want to thank her for doing this. She's at the other event, okay. But thank you so much for being here. We
Thank
really
you.
appreciate it. We're on a tight schedule, so we have to go, but he's going to be here soon, and you're going to have him 24 hours, 24/7, right?
That's right.
There we
Thank
go.
you so much.
Thank you.
Hey, I appreciate it. Thank you.